Welcome on into today's video. Today we're going to be doing a complete walkthrough guide tutorial of the Webull platform, the desktop platform, specifically here in the year 2023. So we're going to be covering everything from this platform, everything that you need to know, and we're going to have everything timestamped in the video description box down below. We're going to take it super slow. We've learned that we tend to speed things up. I tend to talk a little bit fast, so I'm going to try to go as slow as possible to make sure that we cover everything in depth. And of course, slow for me is still going to be a little bit faster paced for some, but I'm going to kind of try to tone it back, have had minimal caffeine. We're slowing it down. It's towards the end of the day. So we're going to kind of run through this stuff very, very nicely. I'm going to get myself off the screen and we're going to have a full screen to go through everything that you need to know on how to use this platform effectively and how to cater it to your own trading and investing styles to get what you need to get out of it to ultimately make you more money. That's what it's all about, right? So let's dive right on in. So first things first, what you're going to do is you're going to download the platform. You go onto the website, you download Webull's desktop platform, and you should have the most up-to-date version installed. And as we go to the bottom left where we have the settings gear icon, you'll see that we currently have the latest version installed. Of course, they come out with new versions all the time. So as time goes on, this video potentially can get outdated. And that's why we try to make these videos once a year so you guys get a pretty good feel for everything and how it all works. Let's start here. Let's start in the settings tab. So it's bottom left, all the way down here in the bottom left of our Webull desktop platform. Okay, so what do we have? We have general settings, your language, your time zone. Pretty straightforward, pretty standard. I don't really need to talk too much about this stuff. It's up to your customization. Then we have three different themes. And I currently use this theme on the left, which has kind of like this grayish blue background, and you kind of have this gradient fill of a look almost in a sense. It looks pretty cool. It works for me. I have up arrows green or up candles green and down is red. You can customize that to red being up and green being down, or green being up and yellow being down if you don't like to look at red. It's up to your customization. You always have the white background. To me, to be honest with you, that's just a little too much on the eyes. So I try to stick with, as you can see here, and maybe this works for you and it looks cleaner. It depends upon your style. Or there's just the straight up black background. Also, I think it has a gradient, a little bit of a gradient texture to it as well, but it's a straight black background. I like the navy blue kind of background. Just works for me. Okay. This tab right here, when search or double click a symbol direct to stocks, that will be one of the current, that's one of the options on the left-hand side. So if I start hovering on the left-hand side, what are you going to start to see? There's different sections. There's watch lists on this little heart symbol. Then there's stocks. Then there's markets, screener, customized, account, paper trading, option traders. Okay. I'm going to have this set to customized. And then when I say customized right here, if I go down to my customized layouts, it'll give me different layouts that I can have this set to. For me, it doesn't really matter. I don't really use this too much, so I'm not going to worry about it. But when I do search or double click at the top of the search box right here and we're to open up a stock, it's just telling you where do you want it to open up in. Do you want to open up this tab in the markets section, the customized section? Do you want to open this up wherever, right? And so I'll just put it under customized for me. It just works. It'll work fine. You know, what tab and what layout do you want to open up? And if you're confused about that, we'll cover layouts and the tabs on the left-hand side in a second. But if I left it as is, it would open it up on the stocks page, which really quick would be a page like this, which you can also customize. Okay, back to settings. On the top of my bar right here, we can have this little option to have working orders show up. I can have the ability to lock my account, which is all these symbols right here. Lock for trading, meaning if, maybe you're at home and you've got kids or you got someone who, might jump onto your computer, you want to lock for trading just in case, someone gets a hold of your computer and wants to start dropping some market buys or market sells, right? Who knows? So maybe you want to lock your trading and then you have to enter your trading passcode to get back in. That's an option. You also have the option right here. We have alerts, we have, messages, and then we have widgets. All of these are the little, options on the top of our settings. Mini account widget, I could add this and it tells me my account value. So on the current Webull account that we are looking at, we have an $8,885.24 value. Some may not. And then if you can hover, or you can actually click down below this, and you'll see, today's P&L, my buying power, options, crypto, open, all that good stuff. It's up to you. Personally, for me, I don't want to see my account value while I'm trading. Just, it's not mentally a great thing. So at least to me. So I don't care for that. But if you want it, cool. Bottom bar settings. This is this guy right here at the bottom. If I were to get rid of that, notice at the bottom of our screen, if I click on this, see how we have a bunch of stocks kind of popping up on the bottom, and they will rotate through. See how they just rotated right there? These are kind of stocks. These are some of the recent stocks you maybe have looked at, and they'll pop through on the bottom of our screen. For me, to be honest, it's kind of cool, just in case. It could be distracting to you. It's not super distracting for me. So I'm going to leave it as is, but maybe you don't want that. Maybe you do want that. It tells you kind of, price points and percent gainer, or how much they're up or down on the given day. So it could be useful. Okay, other cool help stuff down here. Not so much important stuff to talk about. Let's cover some more inside of here. Hotkeys. I believe there's already a video on the channel covering Webull hotkeys, but this is, I don't want to say it's self-explanatory, because it's really not for someone who has no idea what this means, but for someone who is, let's say, an active trader, or just someone who likes to kind of quickly navigate, any platform, these could be useful. So for example, what this is going to do is you can essentially enter in or customize the keys that you want to click for Webull to do certain tasks, and they give you a bunch of options, okay? In my experience, you're going to want this more so for trading. So if I was to click on active trade, and then hover and bring this down, you'll see it says, please set up in active trade settings. I'll click on that active trade settings button, and there is a ton where that came from. So if I want to market by a stock, I can create a hotkey to market by a stock. So for example, I can have it set to, maybe I want to do a control, shift, option, plus a letter or number. That's what you have to do. So for example, like a control B, might be what I want to do. And I can add that, and replace it. So boom, control B is going to market by 100 shares, boom. So these are all things that you can customize yourself. I personally don't use this. It's just not the way that I trade. It's not the style that I, care to use the platform for, but there's a lot of customizations that can be had to get in and out of positions very, very fast. And so you can customize that. That's what that option is. Underneath that, there's a trade. Here's where things get pretty interesting. I want to, touch on this because it's important, and this will potentially resurface, or we'll explain this or show this later on in the video. So what is this? This is the settings section. So we're under the trade settings. Now, under the trade settings, you're going to have some default orders that you like to use or that you can set. So we have option and stock at the top first screen. Here's options, the top, what is it, 6 buttons or 6 customization tabs. And then we have about 5 right here for options, okay? So for me, I don't like to market order, because when I'm trading, maybe there's the spreads and stuff. I just like to have a limit order. So I always have limit orders as my default, but I can make it a market order. And then under quantity, if I click on this right here, this quantity, it's going to be set to 10 standard. But underneath go down below where it says frequently used share quantity, you can customize this to now up to 12 different quantities. So if you're frequently using 10 shares, 25 shares, 100 shares, 1,000 shares, whatever the frequent share size for whatever you like to trade is, you can customize that down below, and you'll see in a minute, how this is utilized. But that's where you'll go ahead and do it. Maybe you're someone who likes to do a percentage, or you like to do, a dollar amount. Those are options as well. For me, the share size is pretty straightforward, and it works well for me. Okay, so that's that. And I'll always have my stuff set to extended hours, time in force. I could even have it set to good till cancel, to be honest. I might just fix that right there, because if I'm trading small cap stocks that move in the after hours, I want to make sure that this order can go through. And for the most part, it's sell orders. I'll be setting some sell orders that if they hit in, pre-market or after hours when I'm not paying attention, I want that to go through. I don't have stops. I don't automatically set stops, but if you have a system or a trading style that you always like to have, a 10% stop and, take profit at 20%, great. Or you can customize this to different numbers if you would like to. So that's kind of a great way to start. Also underneath the quantity, I have it set to shares, these little, I guess, stackable coins right here is what it looks like. If I click on the right-hand side, it'll change to percent or a dollar amount. So if you want a set dollar amount per trade, boom, you got it right there. It's pretty cool and easy to customize here on the trade settings. This is going to show up later on in our active trading tabs and on our trading layouts and widgets and all that great, cool, awesome, fun stuff. Option orders, kind of the same deal. Okay. For me, if I'm taking an option position, I only day trade options. I don't generally, at this point in time on this account, I will generally not be swing trading options. And so I will have my time and force set today, because if it doesn't fill, I don't want to have to forget about an order and all of a sudden tomorrow or the next month it fills. That's a GTC, just means good till canceled. The order will stay open until it either fills or you go and cancel it. So day order means by the end of today, it's going to expire and it will not be valid tomorrow. That's what that means. Okay. So that's in a nutshell what you need to know when it comes to trade settings. Again, you don't need to use this. This is not something that you need to use, but it's very, very good in terms of being able to quickly get in and get out what you need, or to enter, exit, and to have all this stuff at your fingertips later on when you're actively trading. So it could be useful. As I scroll down, order preference, show confirmations, for options, I uncheck this. You might want this, you might not. And so when I enter an order, do I want, Webull to say, are you sure? And kind of confirm. If I don't, I'll uncheck these boxes. If I do, I will check these boxes. And why is that important? Well, it's important because if you're trying to get in and out quick, you don't want to have an extra barrier to getting in, right? You want to be able to click the button and boom, you're in, or have the order in at least. So for me, if I'm clicking the buttons, I already know in my head, hey, I'm comfortable with this trade. I want this trade. I'm going to take this trade. I don't need another person to second guess me or to confirm it. I got it, right? That's just my take. Also, you can do confirmations on hotkeys. So maybe, again, it kind of defeats the purpose in my opinion, for hotkeys. Like if you're going to use hotkeys, like you don't want order confirmations, you want to get in and out quick. But maybe initially, while you're getting used to your hotkeys, it's worthwhile. Remind me when short selling and give you the hard to borrow. That could be useful. Remind me when opening up position with 100% buying power. Remind me when opening up position which expires today. So these could be useful things to add that you want to be alerted to, just in case. Okay, cool. Notifications. So here's where we can have some more customization and fun. Order filled. I have a default notification alert sound. They're all the same. If I want to change that, I can, and it will just change the sound that pops up on your computer when orders go through and all that good stuff. Kind of cool. Account and security. I'm probably going to blur a bunch of this stuff out because, to be honest, there's not much here that I feel like I need to cover. But if I was to log into my account, it will kind of give me some opportunities to change my email and my phone number and the account that I display and all this good stuff. And right here where it says brokerage account, there's an option to hide your brokerage account ID. That's good in case, you don't want anyone to know your brokerage account number if you're screen sharing or if you're taking screenshots and stuff like that. So maybe that's something that you want to do. If you're never going to share your screen with anyone, then don't worry about it. But honestly, I feel like you might as well just cover it up. I don't know too much about the realities of how important these days with especially two-factor authentication checked, if someone has your brokerage account ID, like what they're going to be able to do. Of course they can do a lot, but I'm sure they can do a lot, but to be honest, I don't think it's a massive deal. And then scrolling down, it has all the devices that I've trusted, and I'll probably cover up all these because they have personal names and stuff on there. But yeah, that's what you have at the bottom underneath that. So we've gone through the settings. Let's kind of work our way up. We're going to go up one more notch where it says contact us. Here we go. So where we have the contact us, it's opening up a conversation, right? At the time, I have no conversation. So if I want to report a problem, suggestion, attach a question, boom, go in here and tell Webull what the heck's going on. Great. If I want to attach an image, add a picture, great. I can go ahead and do so. So it's quite simple to do. And this is one of the, I guess it has been one of the bigger drawdowns inside of Webull is their customer service. But in my experience, I will say, I have had pretty good experience with Webull and with their responses. So I haven't had too many problems. But if you are, again, like, where is this? How do I get there? Bottom left, contact us, and then I can go to my history and I can, boom, go back through all the conversations that I've had with them and, check in on stuff. Pretty easy to do. Outside of that, there's the Learning Center. This is actually a pretty cool tab for someone who especially is new, right? Give it a second to load up. It's going to be loading a lot of content here. So it gives you essentially, I guess, this video in a nutshell. Hopefully in this video, we cover a couple more points that maybe you wouldn't learn right inside of these videos that are kind of, this video is like an all-encompassing all-in-one. But they've got some more information. So customized layouts, tools you can use, version notes, like what's being updated in these features that you can find it in the Learning Center. And then, of course, you can scroll through, watch some videos, see what they're doing, understand what new features they're adding to the platform, which is kind of cool. So if you ever have any questions or like what's going on, anything new, boom, I can find all the version notes, different videos, learning more about different tools, placing orders with active trade and all that stuff, which a lot of people don't realize is on the platform already. So if you don't know that, boom, now you do. Okay, so I got out of that. Now let's go from the top down. So we've kind of covered everything on the bottom of our screen or the bottom left. Let's go top down. Now, I will say, we're now looking at, this is a massive page, and it's like super daunting. I know it probably looks crazy, and you don't want to even look at this. This right here is our watch list tab, okay? We can customize a lot, and I have a lot of watch lists, to be honest, on here that I don't even use anymore. So I probably could do a better job of going in here and customizing this out and getting rid of some stuff that I don't want to see. There are already some videos. I believe we already have a video, or to be honest, there's probably videos on this channel already covering a lot of the different aspects of the platform in more depth, different features like the watch list, like, the active trade widgets and this and that. So we're going to update you on the new features and what to do and how to utilize it and what all this stuff means. But if you want more in-depth videos, there's probably a video already on the channel here under the Webull tutorials or the Webull playlist. And if not, if it's a newer feature that's kind of brand new that you want us to dive into more depth that we maybe didn't cover enough in this video, leave a comment below. That's like the best way to let us know that, hey, we're confused upon this feature. Like, how do you use it? If I didn't cover it properly, I'll go ahead and do that in a future video. Okay. So this is the watch list feature. It does look a little scary, but please don't worry. We can go up to the top right. Just kidding. It took a second to load up. We have different modes. We have the edit watch list, add a widget, copy, minimize, maximize, detach, remove. Essentially all these different things. I don't want to say are self-explanatory, but you can feel that out for yourself. It would take too long to kind of cover that stuff. But we're looking at the complete mode. What if I wanted to go to the simplified watch list mode? Click on that. Oh, look at that. Just tells me the stock and the price change. Cool. But I'm under the recently viewed. So these are different watch lists that I have created over time. Okay. Now, again, they're not updated too well. So don't really look at those as like, oh, wait, I'm going to just copy his watch list because it's probably not going to help you. I have them elsewhere these days. But that's kind of like the simplified view. Again, top right, the 3 dots and 3-line icon. I don't even know what that's called, but whatever this icon is, display mode is going to be helpful. I'm going to go to complete, but compact. Check this out. It still looks the same as before. I'm honestly finding or using these display modes for myself now, like the first time. This is more compact. All it's doing is like making the font super, super small, which is like terrible on the eyes. So let's say I want to go to like let's go to like the sports betting let's go to the sports betting watch list just for fun. Click on that watch list and now it has a bunch of these tickers, boom, popped up. This is pretty compact. I might want to go to display mode, simplified, and then, or maybe display mode, back to display mode. I'm going to go back to complete because I want to see all the different features on the watch list, but maybe I want to go here and I want to edit my watch list. Boom, click on the edit button in the top right, And then I can go into any of my watch list. I can make a new one. So maybe I want to make a new one that's just like, let's just say like, I don't know, large cap tech, and I want to put all my, large cap tech stocks in this watch list. Now, boom, I got a large cap tech stock list. I go into that little drawing tab feature and I can edit the name. That's not going to add stocks to this watch list. Okay, cool. I have large cap tech selected on the left-hand side. Go to where it says add symbol. And then boom, I can add in Apple, AAPL, boom. I can add in maybe a QQQ. That's the Invesco QQQ ETF. I can add in Microsoft, MSFT. And I can kind of go along and add stocks in just like that to my watch list. Let's go back to that large cap tech. Boom. We got our 3 tickers popped up in there. Of course, I can add more to that over time as I see fit. But you might be thinking to yourself, okay, cool. Watch lists, great. Like, is this like super helpful? Like, not really. Where is it more helpful? Well, it's when we can take this feature and we can add it into our chart layouts, our customized layouts. So we'll cover that here in just one second, but understand that there's a lot of options to sort through. I'll go to the left-hand side, these 3 lines next to symbol. I know this is super small, but hopefully you're sticking with me here. Click on that. Now I can pop up everything that I want to show up across the top of my screen, all the different categories. Get rid of some, keep some, add more. Boom. So now I have an ability to customize. For example, I'm going to get rid of this turnover. For example, I'll say I want to get rid of turnover. I'm like, I don't really care for turnover. Uncheck that. Now turnover is off. Percentage turnover, get it off. I don't care about that. Expense ratio, I don't care. Get that off my charts. Total assets, I don't care. Get that off. NAV, get it off. I don't need it. And so just customize as you see fit and what is going to be useful and what you feel like you need to look at, right? For the most part, price. The spark line is going to be like the recent trading of the stock and how it has looked. The last price, the percent change, those are things that I think are worthwhile to look at. Volume, up to you. So that's watch list. Hopefully that makes some sense. Now under the stock feature, to be honest with you guys, I will tell you that this feature, I don't know why. I really don't understand why it's necessary because you could just customize a layout anyway. And I'm pretty sure that I've already customized this, so this might not look the same as you. But what I was saying before with the watch list, so under the stocks page, we're going to spend a little bit of time here, and then we're going to move on fairly fast to the next sections because it's not like super worth your while, as it's going to be very, very similar to what you can do in the customized layout section. So here is where I have a watch list on the left-hand side. See how it says recently viewed? If I click on that and I scroll down to my large cap tech, boom, I can just have those stocks popped up. And so this is where I think the watch list is a little more valuable. And so I can kind of sort that right here. There's an option to sort it. I can essentially view what I want to view at a given time instead of just have it set to recent stocks, which I think is kind of useless in my opinion. Unless you're like, oh, I forgot what stock I was just looking at, yesterday. And you want to go back to recent stocks and scroll down that list and find it. Cool. But this section right here, you can customize. So I'm going to stop right here because it's going to be very, very similar to what you could do on the customize, like this paintbrush tool right here. Like it's going to be very, very similar to what you can do there. So we're just going to go to that one next or in a minute or two and learn more about that. But this is this page. There's an option in the top right to add widgets, essentially just like you'd be able to do on the customized layout. And view charts, price points, add whatever you want to add here. Okay, more on this in a second. Markets tab, the Saturn icon, the little, planet icon. Ton of information here. And they've been expanding this information, I will say, over time a lot. So you've got a little bit of a news streamer here. I will say that sometimes you'll find some stuff that just does not really matter when it comes to this news streamer. So I can go over to where it says select news, market news, United States, or I can go to my watch list news. So it's only going to give me news that's specific or valid to the individual stocks on one of these watch lists. Kind of cool. Didn't realize you can do that until just recently. Kind of cool. Okay. We're in the United States tab. There's, of course, a Hong Kong tab because as we click on that, you'll see how you can get a lot more information from over into China and get a feel for how things are shaking out over there and their news. A lot of information relative or related to that stuff. I don't personally follow their markets very close. I'm mostly focused on the US markets, so I'll stick here as I know most of you are, but that's an option. Okay, tons of stuff on this page. You can customize it again by the top right of every one of these little widgets. Each of these like little boxes of different sizes is like a widget, right? The top right, 3 dots, 3 lines. There's options to minimize, maximize, detach, remove the charts, add a different widget, copy. Like you can customize a lot of this stuff, okay? But what you want to take away from this page, and what I think is most valuable to take away, is what's across the middle and the bottom. Now, of course, the top is kind of cool. You can kind of see how markets are doing across the world. It's kind of cool. Visualize. You got the news. You can kind of see, how things have been going across the overall markets and whatever, the trends and stuff. Today was a red day in the markets. And underneath that, top gainers. We have top options, but these are all widgets that I could add and customize and that you can change through, which inside of all of these, they all have additional information that you can sort through. One of the more interesting new features I will mention here, because again, there's a lot here and it's, you can go through and everyone's going to have different needs. So I'm not going to cover everything specifically to the, exact, letter here. But one of the more interesting features is that Webull's got this new kind of option interest or, what's going on in the option markets, right? Feature. And it's like their top options. And so total volume, position increase, decrease, implied volatility. I can kind of sort by a lot of these different options, and it's going to give me specific options. So I'm filming this video at the end of 2022 for 2023, right? But it's telling me that these are some of the most active options right now. These SPY 378 puts, SPY 378 puts, or 379 puts. It will give me exactly what's the open interest, the volume, how they've done today, all that great stuff right here. So it could be useful to kind of identify where there's a lot of action and where there's good volume and what options might be worth trading in terms of from a liquidity standpoint, right? So keep that in mind. There's also an earnings calendar, a dividend calendar, a split calendar. There's an IPO calendar. There's so much here. And inside of this IPO calendar, guess what? You can apply to get shares prior to the IPO. There's a video already up on the channel that actually covers how that process kind of works on Webull and dives a little bit into more depth. So highly recommend you check that video out. It is from a couple months back, but it is still valid at this point in time. Same kind of idea. Top gainers, top losers. Here's where it's kind of cool. So right now we're looking at the after hours. The top right of this widget on the left, I can set pre-market, 5 minutes, 1 day, 5 days, like what stocks are doing really well or really poorly for me lately. Because I can sort by this for today, what the top gainers in the stock market. This stock was up 218%. Scroll down and find some of the top gainers. I can find the top losers. Where were the biggest losers in the stock market today? So it's pretty useful stuff there. Active, in terms of where the most volume is at. Tesla, on its sell-off, at least as of right now, has got a ton of shares, Mullen, Apple, Comms. Like it just tells you where the most active trading is in terms of shares. And it could be useful because, again, liquidity, that's good. ETF tab as well. So could be useful to you. And there's a heat map. You can separate this by industries. You can separate this by different sectors and see how things are performing, in different industries the past couple of days, weeks, months, all of that in awesome stuff that you can sort through. It's kind of like almost like a FinViz, heat map that you can look at. So if I want to look through, even just go through, click on this industry tab and go down to my watch list, I can find my watch list. I can go down to, let's say that, large cap option watch list. And I can find out of this list what was green, what was red. So what was relatively weak versus the market, what was relatively strong and all that. So Tesla today was actually relatively strong. So I can kind of see that stuff, which is pretty cool on the bottom. So in a nutshell, that's the market tab. It's a lot. It is a lot, but that is the market tab. It's a very powerful tab and it could be very, very useful to you for scanning, for ideas, to review things at the end of the day, or even in the morning when, you're checking in on the markets and seeing how things are going overseas, whatever. Useful stuff. Next, we head to the screener tab. Left-hand side, this little kind of magnifying glass with a little trend line option. Again, same thing here. We've got a video covering this already on the channel, I believe, but let's cover it again really quick so you guys understand how this works. I have my screeners. I have a bunch of kind of like tests and top gainers and all these different screeners, or I guess, or a couple of these that I've made myself. But in an example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own right here. So I have an option to sort by different filters. They have added to this, I believe, in a substantial way. So a lot more different financial indicators you can sort from. There's a couple different technical indicators that you can also sort from right here. Analyst ratings, if they have fractional shares available, if they have margin available, all of that stuff, a lot. So for example, let's just say that I wanted to sort by sector, I wanted to sort by market cap, and I didn't care about any of these financial indicators. Let's just say, okay? And then I wanted to sort by these moving average. MA stands for moving average. Let's just say I want to go to RSI. RSI, relative strength index, oversold, overbought. Let's see. I don't care about anything else. Okay, let's just say that I want to do that. Okay. Now I'm going to select region United States. That's fine. Sector. Let's say I want to go down to right now. I want to go down. I've been noticing a lot of small caps in the healthcare, the pharmaceutical space, biotechs. They've been hot. So let's go to those two sectors, the healthcare and services and then pharmaceuticals. And let's look for small caps. I want to go to stocks under, let's say, under $1 billion market cap. I can even go lower because it's giving me, as of right now, see how it says it's very small. Under the matches section, it says 4,270. Boom. And I want to find stocks that are super oversold. I want to find stocks that are under a 30 RSI. I want to go to under a 30 RSI. Let's find that. I can just go in here into the box and type in 30. I'm not sure why. I'm just dragging that along, wasting your time. Go to 30. Edit this back here to just 1. So now it's going to give me matches of 176 total that fit the market cap, the RSI, and the sector that I picked. Maybe that's still too much. Maybe I want to drop this market cap to 0.1 billion or just simply 0.1. And it's going to, minimize or drop this down a ton. Bring that drop down over, I don't know, let's just roughly put it right there. 0.09. Cool. And now I've got 135. So still a lot of stocks. Still a lot. I mean, this would bring this RSI down even more. Still a ton of stocks here. And I can slowly customize this to find or to get myself down to, a very small customized list. And again, a ton of stuff here. If I wanted to create a watch list off of this, I could do so in the top right. Click on create a watch list and then add in and just call it oversold small cap bios, for example. I don't think it lets me type more than whatever many characters that is. Oversold, let's just say bios, small cap, something like that. Whatever works for you. Call it a watch list, be done, boom. Also, my screener, I can go to the bottom and save it, title it if I want to. I can title it the same thing, up to 24 characters. I'm not going to because I don't really need to cover that or need to save this watch list myself, but that's it. That's how it works under the screeners tab, okay? Pretty cool, pretty straightforward stuff. Now for the customized layout. Here's where things are going to get a little bit more interesting, so to speak. So let's go. So here we go. We've got some videos on the channel covering different layouts. We will, I believe, even have an option layout. I believe we've got how to create a customized layout on the channel already. Those videos still stand. They still make sense. And they're still very useful if you wanted in-depth guide into specifically just that. We're going to cover an overview here. And what we are looking at is an customized layout that works for me. I have an options layout. I've got a swing trading layout. I've got a chart only layout. This has a big chart. If I just want to look at charts, really depending upon the style or really what I'm looking for at the time. Okay. So for me, this swing trading layout has a nice big chart. We've got our watch list on the left-hand side. We've got our profile of the company that we're looking at. We've got some information across news, other analysts, other analysis, institutional price targets and stuff like that. What's going on? Who, whatever you want to add. To be honest, I don't really use too much of that stuff, so I don't even necessarily need it, but I leave it down there in case I want a resource. Then we have other widgets up here. We've got our quote. We've got our order book level 2. We've got our time and sales. We've got our classic trade widget, which also we have underneath that, the price ladder and the active trade widget if I want to use those. Then we've got our like scanner, I guess, if you want to call it that, the top gainers, top losers, active stocks, popular stocks, 52-week high lows, all that stuff. Kind of similar to what we had on the markets tab there. And the bottom right, I know I am cut off a little bit because my screen, as I scroll over, it doesn't record the entirety of my screen. It's kind of a big screen, so it doesn't record the entirety of it. So I'm cut off a little bit. So that's why I scrolled over to the right to go all the way to the end of these different widgets. And then you'll see that I have an index chart just so that I see like, okay, how's the market doing today? Before I enter a trade, do I know the trend? What's the trend? Is there a trend? If I want to, look at that stuff. So cool. Great. How do I even do this stuff? Okay, here's where it gets interesting. Go to new layout. Okay, you'll probably come in here and you'll have either a normal or they'll give you a couple options. Blank is fine. For me, these are some customized ones. I have an option trading, swing trading, chart only laptops for different computers that I use, all that stuff. I would say that you can start with like a default, my customized, this is all. Start with a default or just go blank and just build. This is where you can get creative. You can build it out however you see fit. So if I did blank, okay, I'm going to get rid of this in a second. But now on the middle, I click on this button that says click to add widgets. Okay, click on that button. Now here's our little add widget, I guess, toolbox, which also up on the right-hand side, you'll see it says add widgets. Click on that box. You'll pull up the same thing. Okay, here's where you can add the chart. Option chain, the quote, key stats, time and sales, volume, order book level 2, classic trade, order entry, active trade, all the different widgets that you want, P&L, price ladder, your account info, if you want to. All that stuff you can add, as well as news. You can even add the screener tab, the watch list tab, which is very useful. Again, if I go back to my swing trading layout right here, what you'll notice is that when I add the watch list tab, I can make it super skinny and I can have it so that all I need to do is just jump around to my positions, my watch list, go to all stuff, whatever I want to do. I can customize this a ton. And it makes it super easy because when I click on one of the stocks here, boom, it pops right up on our screen. How do you do that? How do you do that where you are clicking or looking up a stock in one tab and it pops up across other tabs? Key point in the video. Top of our widget where it says set as group. I have it set to group 1. If I label widgets with the same group number, when I change something on one widget, it's going to change where it says where I've attached the group 1 or whatever group number to other widgets. Okay. So I essentially have one attached to like all the widgets that I would want to change to reflect what I'm looking at on that stock, right? So that's how that works. Again, this is where you have complete creative control. This is what works for me. If you want to screenshot it, you want to look deeper into this, great, go ahead and do so. Again, it will take a long time to go through the entirety of building it out one by one, adding widgets. You can customize, you can make them bigger, smaller, you can overlay. So really quick, when I have this chart, if I click on my chart widget right here, right? See how it says chart? But under that, there's options, order entry. All I've done was I've added a widget, popped a widget open. Let's go, I want to go to key statistics, right? Grab that, and I bring it up to the widget that I want to put it on. Boom, drop it in. Now I have chart, options, order entry, and key stats. And I can kind of flip back and forth between all of those. The smaller the screen, the more you want to kind of overlay. The larger the screen, the more you can have. Okay, and if I want to remove that, I can detach it, copy it, add another widget, or just remove it flat out, remove it, and it's off. Okay, that's how that works. Again, so now when it comes to the actual trading aspect of the platform, we've also got some videos covering order entries and all these different other aspects. If you want to learn more about the price ladder, how that works, active trade, how that works, there are some great videos on the Webull playlist already here. But see what we're talking at the beginning, the way beginning. this is all there. Like this, I didn't touch, but it's set for me. Automatically set to limit. Automatically set to quantity of 10. Good till canceled, extended hours. And then the stop loss and take profit are not checked. So if I click on the quantity, now all of those additional quantities that you can have up to 12 here, all underfill that. So if I was to quickly say, okay, I tend to trade in, 100 share increments, click on quantity, and then you can have all of your increments, 100, 500, 1,000, 2,000, whatever. Boom. And you can click on that quickly, set it, enter it, click on buy, get in. Just like that. Okay? That's what that was all about. That's where it shows up underneath this is the classic trade widget that we're using right here. Okay? So that's how that works. Cool stuff. Let's cover the next tab, or really quick, I want to mention this too. Under the options trading tab, this blank, I'm going to get rid of this blank layout. Under the option trading tab, really quick, I was talking about the different groups. So here's an example where I have different groups. So under my watch list, I have it set to group 2. Under my charts and my quotes and my level 2, I have it set to group 1. On the right-hand side, as I scroll over, you'll see that the time in sales, the price ladder, and the level 2, or the order book, over here, are set to group 2. That's because how I trade this account, or how I trade here, I like to have the stock chart on the left of my chart, the left chart, the chart of the option contract that I'm trading right here. And then if I'm going to trade that option contract, I want to be able to enter, watch the price action, then enter the orders here on the right. Just visually, it's more appealing. But I'm trading the option contract based off the stock. So like I'm watching if the stock holds this level, I want to be long. But if it doesn't hold this level, I want to be short. I'm watching the stock, and that's dictating my entry and exit on the options. And that's what might be useful. This way I can have a separate piece that I'm looking at across the stock and then the option contract, and not have them all change at the same time and have to go back and forth to enter my orders, right? You can kind of do it all together. So cool. Search bar at the top right will do it. How do you get to the option? Like if you want to pull up an option, how do you do that? Under the options widget, if I go down and I was to select an option, don't click on the last, the ask, or the bid price. Click on those, it's going to open an order entry form. So boom, if I click on that, it's going to open an order. I don't want that. Click on anything except the last, ask, or bid price. For example, the percent change on this Tesla call. Now, see how the right-hand side just changed? Go to the chart, have a chart widget on top of the options widget, and now I can go to the chart for this option. It's super light volume, so there's not much action here, but you can go in the chart and find that option on the chart just like that. So that could be useful to you potentially if you are interested in this type of style. All right, we're moving along, man. It's taken a while, but we're moving along. Okay, here we go. We're at $8,900 in the account. That is our account value. This is the home page of the account. This is the account details. This is where we have the P&Ls. This is where we have the components, of the account and different stock P&Ls of all time. My all-time, I guess best trades in this account. I got my current positions across the middle. I don't use this too much. I will be honest. It's more so reflective after the fact, how much is the account worth and all that stuff. But what I will say is useful here is on your positions, you have this tab. There's an order tab. There's order entry tab. If I wanted to exit really quick, I click on the left-hand side, the 3 dots, and then it gives me a bunch of options. I can click on close position, close in an order entry, market order, limit order, take profit, stop loss. I will do that on the charts anyway. I'll go to the chart. I'll pull up my positions on the watch list tab, open up the stock, and then exit if I want to based off of the charts. But you could do it here. It's potentially, worthwhile. There's more information here in terms of your account options, trade confirmations, crypto, exercise history. You can find a lot of stuff here. Here's where it's pretty cool. I don't want to, bore you too much because this is kind of, personal stuff, I guess, in terms of what you're doing. But if I look at my past 5 days account value, here's my cumulative P&L the past 5 days. I can follow all these different things, which is useful. Okay. I can now also find my P&L from the past 5 days right here. So if I click on this 5-day icon and then I click on this little 100% box right here, trading P&L of $400, it'll now show me all the stocks I traded the past couple of days to equate to my $400 gain. Kind of cool. Also, trading records, really cool stuff. If I were to search up a stock, for example, I was to search up Caterpillar. I don't know why, but I am. Caterpillar, CAT. Select it right here on my stock P&L. Then go to my Caterpillar P&L. I can follow how this has been. Go to my trading records. I can see quantity, the price, the fees of all the options I've traded, the exact fill times, all that stuff. Super, super cool. There's a video on the channel already on how to export your data, your trading logs and data into a CSV file, I believe, from Webull. That would be done on the mobile app. We'll have a video covering the mobile app tutorial if there isn't one already. There's probably an old one, but we'll make a new one at some point soon. But you can export all this stuff and then have it on a spreadsheet if you want to. But it's pretty cool. Dividend records, options P&L. You can follow along, pretty cool. It tells you the exact options, the expiration dates that you did well on. Cool stuff. I mean, there's a lot of data that you can unpack here on this platform. Okay. Any questions on this, leave it down below. Let's move on to the next section, paper trading. We're going to have a brand new video covering paper trading because there are some updates. We're going to be doing some live paper trading because right now the market's actually the after hours just closed as we're filming this video. So I want to do some live paper trades, show you how it works. I will say a couple things. Make sure it has PM at the top of your screen. Okay, number one. Number two, paper trading executions take a ton longer. I can't stress how much longer these executions take compared to the live account. It is like night and day. And I'm not even joking. Like it's crazy. So don't get too caught up if you're like, oh, I want to try Webull out, but I'm not really sure. It's night and day. The paper trading executions, it takes like, I don't want to say it takes forever, but it seems like it takes forever. Whereas the live account, you're in and out 2 seconds, like not even seconds. It's like instantaneous almost. So don't get turned away by the executions here. Just play small size if you go into the live account to start, get a feel for it, and move on. Very, very similar to the customized layout feature. I can customize it. I can make it look however I want it to look on this layout and trade. Now, they recently added options to the paper trading platform. It was something that you can only trade mobile, okay? But you now have options on paper trading on Webull. Pretty cool. Something that they didn't have before that makes it like super worthwhile that they have options trading. So for example, let's look at these, Palantir. I don't know why Palantir was a stock of choice. These Palantir calls, I can pop them up and now I can trade these Palantir calls on here. There will be a specific and separate video coming out very, very soon. If it's not out already, check out that Webull playlist to find out more about this live. We'll have some live examples, but just understand that it's essentially the same thing as the customized layout, except PM is fake money, paper money is what it stands for, and you can trade with whatever amount of money you want to, practice all you want, and get good at it before you take it over to a live account. Okay, last but not least, there's an options trader section right here. This is kind of like a layout, almost like customized for options traders. I to be honest, I don't think it's that worth it. Like it's just make your own layout. Like it's not necessary to have this or to worry about this too much. Just like the stocks widget on the left-hand side, or the stocks, feature on the left-hand side. Just make your own layout, add the widgets that you want to add to your layout, and go from there. If this is helpful, great. You got a place to start. But from my experience, just go to that paintbrush tool, the customized layout tab, make a different layout, make it set for options trading like I did right here, and you're set, ready to go. Guys, that was a long video. Hopefully you got something out of it. If you did, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel down below. We try to make videos like this to start the year off, to get a good set or a good base or a good foundation for a lot of the platforms that we use on the channel and that we talk about. Then we talk about strategies and all that different stuff. On the TC Trading channel, we try to make videos here 1-2 times per week, tutorials, strategy, stuff that you're going to find useful, hopefully. Questions that you have, leave them all down below because we can make videos on that in the future. So you have a great free resource, ideally, that you can always refer back to and rely upon for videos or for information like this that might not be as accessible elsewhere. Outside of, a nice full long YouTube video, someone who uses the platform essentially every single day, showing you, what you need to look at, what works, what doesn't work, what's not worth it, what's worth spending your time on, all that good stuff. There'll be a link down below if you want to sign up for Webull and get some free stocks if you haven't done so already. I would imagine a lot of people probably have, but there's a link down below, other resources as well if you want to check that out. Great stuff down there in the video description boxes like always. And I appreciate you guys for staying this whole time. If you haven't, again, if you want to jump around, those timestamps will be linked up down below. So check those out, and I hope to see you guys in a future video. Peace out. Have a great rest of your day.